Welcome to Podcast from the Pit. I'm Eric,
I'm Casey.
and with us this week is a return of hold on, I was good here. Still a big kid and the fantastic toy robot.
So happy to
The
have you.
man, the myth, the legend. There he is.
I got two people looking at me laughing.
It's the first time a lot of people in the community have seen my face. I was almost tempted to wear a mask, wear a Snake Eyes mask or something. So
That would have been
remain
cool.
faceless.
Yeah.
Well,
Break
we
out.
have
I'll
a
never
friend.
forget it.
Yeah, we have a friend that when he comes on, he doesn't show his face. He just has like the background, and that's cool. Crash, you're always welcome, buddy.
Yep. You're always welcome to come and talk about the Lord's scale.
And 112.
Yeah.
I was just saying, what is the Lord's scale? Was it 118th?
Yeah.
118. Which
Yes.
I'm going to look hypocritical here in a few when I show off what I got this week.
Yeah. I mean, a good friend a couple weeks ago sent me a care package of some Motu stuff. And I've got it all set on this desk right here surrounding me. I got He-Man eyeballing me and Skeletor getting ready to beat me down with his Haberstaff and Merman getting ready to skewer me with his pitchfork, and
It's a trident.
same difference.
West Virginia's a pitchfork, huh?
Morning, Joe Hunter.
Hey, Larry, what's going on?
Morning, guys.
Morning, Stacy. Morning, Ronnie Trick Shot. Ronnie will be on next week as we talk 1985.
Oh,
85 was a rough year.
85 will be a tough list to do.
Yeah.
I found 84 to be a tough one because
Yes.
as I get older, my tastes constantly change on what excites me at the time. So my list actually surprised me when we was putting it together. But,
Yeah, whenever I was putting mine together last night at the last minute, 85 is a good year. 85,
86, 87 are all strong years.
yeah.
They will all be fun lists.
I got some funny stories from 85 whenever we get there. Like, first time I got an 85 figure was Flint. And he had that swivel in the head where he'd look up and down. I thought he was broke. And then once I got the hang of it, I was like, this is awesome. But
you need a couple of Dukes in your collection.
I've got one. That's
Oh,
all I need.
Morning, Wreck Ship.
Morning.
man, I'll have to put my glasses on to see who's commenting. It's bad.
You know what that
Love
means,
it.
don't you?
Love the usuals. I mean, all friends.
Yeah.
Friends, and that's a good
yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we want.
Goes. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, Casey.
Oh, I just says that. Do we want to go through what we've got this week? Because I got a couple thank yous I've got to get out there.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I will just do this real quick.
See, you was just wanting to go on the big screen.
That's all it is. Got to show the money.
Money shot.
First, I just want to say thank you to Lenny from Frostbite's G.I. Joe Repro.
Yeah.
Sent me some cool stuff, some cool stickers, which I will display on my laptop. I've got a bunch of like podcast stickers on there. So
Yeah.
I am very thankful for these. I know he didn't send them out to a lot of people, and I'm humbled that Me and Eric were two of them.
Yeah, I got them, and they're really cool. I wasn't feeling the greatest whenever I got them, so if I didn't get a chance to thank him for them, I apologize for that.
Oh, here we go. These are from a friend of mine named Jason, who goes by the name of Yo the Dude 013. These are water slides for Delta 17.
Ooh.
Because I've been working on a couple customs and I didn't have good stickers for them. And now I do.
Gosh.
He had them printed up. He just sent them to me. So thankful. Thank you, Jason. I meet him every time we go to Winterfest or Kentuckiana. He's such a nice guy. Same thing with Wreck Ship. I'll see you in January as well.
Me too. Lord willing.
And last but not least, of stuff I've had a great week of just friends sending me stuff. Now, I got from Mr. Eric Hillbilly Harper, sent me a trigger.
Hey, you got the blast effect on there.
I did.
The blast effect didn't come with him, but I threw it in there anyways.
It's appreciated. A Desert Rat.
That's a cool figure. Both of them are really cool.
Yes, sir.
A Swarm Sentry, which I already had one, but two's even better. They could work together.
Yeah.
And a Troop Builder, which I didn't get a chance to dig into, but I put a Gridiron sniper rifle on him. So he looks really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy yet. I'll figure it out. And I bought way too many toys to show them all off, but I want to show these two off.
Oh, did you find the wing set?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I got a Rick. And Michonne from the Walking Dead comics. These are
cool.
Diamond Selects, so they're black and white versions, and they're one TIFF scale, so they're even bigger than, I'd say they're probably like 7-inch. But I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, and I ordered them 6 months ago, and I thought they were canceled. I'm so glad they weren't. So that's all I'm going to show off. Thanks to everybody with their kindness of sending me some great stuff. I'm just humbled, and thank you all for your kindness. Thanks.
Yep. I know that whenever I got the package in from James there, I was like, I opened it up and there's an extra figure in that wasn't supposed to be in there. A Squeeze. And
awesome.
I was like, man, I'm glad I threw that extra figure in there he didn't know about.
Worked out, didn't it?
Yeah. I like to see your face whenever you open that up.
It was like,
but
that was a nice package.
I kind of figured it would fit your collection better than it did mine. And so.
Well, he looked great, brother. He looked great. Yep. I'd wanted some of this. Is it the classic Motu Classics? Is that what I was trying to get from you?
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah.
Okay. And I sent the other ones in. So he threw a Marauders Navajo Code Talker figure from World War II in. I was like, oh yes, man. And nice. But that was my latest package outside of the little local pickup I shared a couple of days ago on Instagram.
With the 82s.
Oh yeah, them things are clean and tight, man. And there's actually a Night Force Psych out that's in the lot, but my buddy forgot to put him in there to sell his house. So it's not a very good price. I couldn't pass up that lot. But that's all. I haven't bought anything new that I can think of. My wife could probably hear me. She's in the other room, so I'm not talking super loud on that one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I understand. Trust me.
Nah, she doesn't mind. She actually encourages me in my hobby. So it's
Mine
her
too.
fault.
Yeah. My wife does all my tech stuff for me too. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
My wife does all my banking for me, so she knows if something. She's like, "What's
My
this
wife
charge
does all
for?"
my cooking.
But I do all the cooking. 95% of it I do.
It would not be good for my family. My
like
wife's
to
a better
cook.
cook than I am.
I like to tear the kitchen up.
Now, that fella, he can sure enough cook.
I heard about that. I heard you all's having
Man,
like gourmet buffet breakfasts and
oh yeah, yeah, man. Man, he makes shoe leather taste good.
yeah, that's what I heard.
Another little Tex-Mex season.
But it was
Helps,
awesome.
Anthony.
It was awesome getting to meet you at Joe Fest there, Anthony.
Same. I started to get a chance to unlike Jamie, there were so many people there that like I saw a couple of guys that I recognized from, but then there were some that I didn't recognize. Some people I didn't know.
Yeah.
And some people that I probably walked right by that I've commented on their stuff or shared stuff, or they're I follow them, they follow me, and so it's maybe get a chance to
I'm sure that I walk right by people I follow and comment on
Yeah.
all day long at Joe
Right.
Fest.
Actually
Same
had
here.
somebody shout me out at Joe Fest. That was kind of wild.
Yeah.
That was
Eric's our celebrity.
Hans, right?
No, it was somebody else.
Somebody in the hallway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like, Hillbilly. I was like, yeah. And he's like, woo. Nah, it was really cool to get to meet him. But I wish I could remember who it was. Lord have mercy, my memory's bad.
Well, Joe Fest it's so much to take in.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes, it is.
Like I said, I've been there 4 times now, and every time is different from the last, and it seems like it just gets better every year.
Well, I hope to return this year, Lord willing.
Me too.
Same. I mean, this year was my first year, and the first day, maybe the first couple, so we went to the preview, and you're just scooping up what you think you can grab, thinking you're going to miss out on something. And then the next day I walked around and I was buying stuff, but I ended up buying, I have a 2.5-year-old, and I ended up buying more stuff from him. Like somebody said, "Hey, that guy's got a big bag of R2-D2 at Joe Fest. What's going on here?"
Yeah.
And but I everywhere I looked, I had to stop myself. I had to say, all right, he's already got 2 monster trucks. He's already got an R2-D2, and all the list went on, right? But the Sunday, I caught myself. I felt like I had seen everything, all the stuff that was like in your face, and then now I was noticing stuff that was like obscure stuff, like this. Well, this is actually modified a little bit, but one of this obscure Joy Toy figure that was just kind of sitting back, and I was seeing little small things. So yeah, there's a lot to see there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was in sensory overload.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
But so, I've already got my.
If you do go this year, Anthony, I will have to meet you because I apparently did not this year. But it would be cool.
I've already got my tickets ordered, got my hotel booked. Yep. Mrs. Hillbilly Sharper, she is going with me as of right now.
Oh man, great.
Unless she changes her mind. and then I'll be
Man.
hitchhiking down. Be like
Well, you
the
can still drive. You just do it by yourself.
yeah, be like the end credits of the Incredible Hulk. Me walking down the I-77.
There's Mr. Joe Fest himself right there.
Yeah, this guy right here.
Recondo.
He has an entourage around him. They like play trumpets whenever he walks into the showroom floor and announce him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He should be the ambassador
Man.
for Joe
Yeah.
Fest because he just got that aura around him.
Yeah.
That everybody's your friend kind of guy.
Yeah.
It's,
Man.
I mean, if I could have one ability that somebody has, I would want that because he's just awesome.
Yeah.
Well, he must run neck and neck with a hillbilly then, because I feel that way about Eric.
No. No.
I'm just part of the unwashed masses, you know.
Me too.
On the outer edge.
I'd talk to people and they look at me and go, "What?"
Listen, man, I don't care what I'm looking at on Instagram. It'll be some random video that, you know, as I'm going through the videos, and it's going to be liked by Hillbilly Harper. He's going to like every single account out there. He follows every. I'm like, this guy's already been here, man. It's like going to the moon and staking a flag and look over there, Hillbilly. You know, when did he get here? You know,
I can't help it. You know, I want to support these people, and to me, it's rude just to look at a picture and just go on. I always got to it's habit. I double tap it just to show them, hey, you're appreciated.
If I'm looking at it, I'm clicking it.
Yeah. How come you never click none of my stuff?
I click on your stuff all the time.
Well, don't put him on the spot here.
But you know, it to me it's just courtesy. You know, people put a lot of work into this stuff. And there might be some stuff I don't click on if it goes against something I believe in. I won't hit it.
Right. But I mean it's common sense.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you for sharing that. The Red Okami is on sale at the Delta 17 site. Also, the first issue of the comic is also on sale.
Yeah.
And the comic is amazing. It made me take a character I liked him, but he was probably one of my least favorites and made me really like him. That's how well it's
written. Yep. And they need to do a car like they have in the book. What'd they call it? His war wagon, or
don't ruin it. Let people read it.
Okay.
Because it's so funny.
It was great. It's a great book, and I'm like you. That character now, I'm really wanting to get him. So
it's just amazing what good writing and art can do for a character.
Yeah.
You guys don't think less of me. I didn't pick any Delta 17 up. I loved them at the table. I still don't own any. I actually spent more money at the Skeletron, 3 3/4 figures, 1/18 figures.
It's time to end this podcast then. And good night, everybody.
Just a little bit of mercy there, Brother Eric.
We'll allow it.
What I was saying earlier about Eric, it's not just the feat of toys, but like if I'm on Instagram and it's something about baking a cake or, you know, something completely unrelated to toys, he's been there. I'm like, Eric's been here too. Or somebody sends me a funny video of something so unrelated. Eric's already liked it as well. I'm like, this guy is everywhere, man.
I have a lot of.
I love this. Show the support, brother.
I have some downtime of a morning.
I can tell when a lot of my friends are at work. I'll get 1,000 videos sent to me. You know, if they're at home, I don't get it because the wife usually on them. But if they're at work, I get a lot of videos from my buddies. So I guess they're not busy at work. Probably missing gauges is going to lead to some kind of pressure blow at a plant
Yeah.
somewhere, but it's
Nuclear
all
fallout.
right.
But like with me, my wife, she goes to work at like 7:30 in the morning. So I'm by myself till 1:30.
That's
And
dangerous.
yeah, me and the dog here by ourselves. I mean, it is a scary situation. But so we've been rambling. Are you all ready to get to your lists?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. This was a hard
I think
list.
so.
It was real hard. And the pattern we're going to be going here is we're going to go clockwise, starting with Casey. No, we're not going to do that to you, Casey. Delta 17 is amazing.
It is.
It depends
Right,
on.
forgive me, I'm going to get some.
Well, we'll allow it. I mean,
and I've said it 1,000 times. It's like we're kids again.
yeah.
We get those amazing 3 3/4 O-rings. I get the same feeling opening these at 52 as I did opening my first Joe's at 10. And
Well,
I love it.
James, what was it the boss said? Grace is sufficient.
Yes. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah. But so I'm going to start, and then we'll go to Fantastic Toy Robot, then James, and then Casey. And we're going to start with our vehicles, 3 to 1.
Yep.
And my number 3, y'all are going to skin me for this.
Well, hey, before you do it, you do have a couple lists that you're going to read right before we hit the number 1 figure, right?
Right. I have a list from Joe Hunter 73 and my buddy Gary Wayne. So my number 3 is the water moccasin.
Nice.
I got it. I played the guts out of that thing. I never understood the ski thing under the bottom of it. The torpedo thing.
Yeah.
I never understood what that was, but I left it plugged up in there. I still played with it and loved it. So that's my number 3.
Nice.
Nice fit.
We've also
Hey,
been.
there we go.
Can you hear me? These earbuds are tricky. Sometimes they want to work. Sometimes they don't want to work. Can you guys hear me now? Pretty good.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir.
Now we can't.
Now we can't.
Okay, so I can't turn my head. That's the conclusion.
I was going to say, I think that's it. I think you got to be straightforward.
So don't turn my head. Here we
Yeah.
are.
Be stoic like a statue.
My number 3 for this morning is this is my number 3. Okay, number 3 would have been this guy. I actually broke mine out.
Nice.
This would have been my number 3.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I love this
that's
thing as
cool.
a
I've
kid.
never owned one.
Me neither.
Yeah, I actually picked this one up a while back, somewhere on one of the marketplaces. Pretty good deal on it. But when I was a kid, I loved the Vamp, but I didn't really get into. Unlike James over there, I didn't get into the early stages of stuff. I was into Star Wars more than early Joes. But by the time 84, 85 came around, I was fully into G.I. Joe, and a lot of stuff I got. I would get a lot of stuff. My mom frequented garage sales, so I had a lot of stuff, a lot more than I probably should have had, but I had a lot of stuff for that reason, just from yard sales. And I think my original one of this may have came from a yard sale pickup, and I thought it was the coolest thing.
That is cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is good.
That's
Yeah.
a nice pick, man.
Actually,
Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
You're right. I've got a thought on how to pump that up. You know how Gridiron has the kits to beef up the Vamps?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do that to a vintage vamp. Put bigger tires
the
on
same
it, jack it up.
Oh yeah,
But I just don't know how to go
Yep.
about doing it yet. So
just need somebody creative.
yeah.
Man, my list was hard. 82 through 84, my favorite years. I may be on an island by saying that.
Yeah.
And 84 is probably the only year I actually own everything to it right now as an adult. Number 3 was tough. Believe it or not, it was almost a mountain howitzer because I had so much fun with that little play set. But
Mhm.
this is be my number 3 here. It's going to be the Slugger. It's just it was artillery, and for some reason, as a boy, I was drawn to the big cannons. And I had so much fun with the Slugger, and even Thunder. Thunder was
Yeah.
Came with it, just a great figure. Won't get into figures yet, but Slugger would be my number 3. It was between that, the Mountain Howitzer, and the Water Moccasin, because all 3 of those, man, I was like, number 2 and 1 to me are runaways, But anyway, no, Slugger was mine. Somebody went black here. Let's see.
Hey, I'm here. I gotta do something real quick. I'm listening to you guys. Can you hear me?
Oh, go ahead, fella.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good, man.
So my number 3 is a Slugger as well. I love the Slugger.
Hi, little Will. I hear you, Will.
Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
It's okay.
My wife and my little guy are heading out down to my in-laws, so I had to check out real fast before they got out.
Man, we
I
understand
now.
that.
That's important right there, big guy.
That's a beautiful sound, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Eric, you have great taste. I mean, Casey, have great taste, brother.
Yep. Slugger.
taste.
I actually picked up a Slugger, I think 2 years ago at, I want to say, Kentuckiana, from one of my favorite people to buy toys from, Boston Found Toys. Complete, no Thunder. Oh, I'm sorry, no. I got it from Destro's Toy Den, and I got it for $15.
That's a good. I got to kiss my wife bye as well, y'all. Excuse me. Love you. Shut that door. Now they're laughing at me. Just kidding.
Hey, we're not laughing at you, man.
No.
Like Hillbilly said, that's the most important stuff, man. That's the good stuff.
28 years of marriage, I don't turn down kisses anymore. Okay.
No. No.
Let me shut this door, fellas.
My wife's laying on the couch looking at me, just grinning.
She said, "Look at there. That looks like Tom Cruise sitting over there on that little podcast."
Yeah. No, she's like, "Look at that idiot over there."
Oh, sorry.
We just hit 27 years of marriage last month, and the reason I'm married up, and the reason she took me in was she seen me out in the wild, and she's like, "This guy isn't going to be able to survive on his own in the wild. I got to take him in," and that's what she did. She took me in and made me breakfast and guiding me down the road.
You were hooked, Tarzan, huh?
Yeah. I was like, "Bunga bunga, what is this?" But anyhow, number 2, absolutely loved this vehicle. Loved it. I have one now. It's complete. Still love it. The Skyhawk.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That thing went on so many missions. I mean, it was versatile. Get people in and out of bad situations. I mean, it was awesome. So that is my number 2. The one I got now, I actually got it off of a friend of mine on Instagram, Bouncy Bingle.
Is there no Bouncy? Yeah. Hey, Ronnie, I hear you, brother.
But I absolutely love this Skyhawk. I got it
Yeah.
off of him, and he's a great guy. So that's my number 2.
Awesome.
That's on my list of pickups, and I'm also excited. There was a third party company that did a 1/12 classified scale Skyhawk, and I think recently Hasbro sent them a cease and desist. So my expectation based off of that, and I'm not starting anything, but like my hope is that Hasbro's going to make their own. They're going to make one.
Yeah.
I'm a big 1/12, as you can kind of see in the background there. That's all 1/12 stuff, and they really got me. Like they got me hook, line. They just might as well just reel me in. They got the net. I'm already there,
Yep.
But I still, I mean, the Skyhawk was also one of my favorites, and same thing. I played with that thing lots of missions. Now, growing up in the bayous, growing up where there was a lot of water, we loved it when it flooded, even though our parents didn't, because my number 2, and I dug this bad boy out last night, but my number 2 is this guy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If you had it, even if you just, mine when I was a kid, I probably had a shell. I don't think I had any of the fans. I may have had the missiles. I may have had the guns, but I didn't care. I took it to the beach. I took it up on the sandbar when we went up on the river. It got plenty of time in the backyard. Even wherever there was water, that's where that was. You can find me in that killer whale out there with it, loaded with as many figures as I could put on that thing.
Yeah.
And so that's my number 2.
Never had that, and now you're making me so jealous.
Nice. All right, my number 2 was one that I enjoyed so much and still do. It was one that brought a lot of joy to me, but it was this guy right here. That was a Rattler, and I love the Rattler. I was a big World War II guy because that's my dad was, and I love the military planes of World War II because he always had a top turret, and the Rattler, of course, had the top turret. All of our bombers did. It attacked a lot of Joe convoys with its arsenal. The fact that it's VTOL, I mean, that's just, and they're making it now in classified, which this guy's going to have one, and probably this guy as well. I'm not sure, but it was an amazing toy. I mean, to me, nothing, just those last 2 or 3, nothing compared to what Joe was producing in the 80s. I mean, look at the armament on that. I know it borrowed from the A-10, but the Rattler was just, man, it was hands down one of the top toys ever made by Joe's.
That should have actually been one of the most deadly vehicles Cobra had. I mean, hands down, it should have been one of the most dangerous to seen coming into the screen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, still to this day, one of the best comics that G.I. Joe put out was the one where the Sky Striker, Ace and Sky Striker, and Wild Weasel with the Rattler, the big fight. I actually have a shirt of that my friend Gary from Chapel's Assistant Motor Pod sent me. Love that. It's
one of the best.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's why it's my number 2 as well. I think we're on the same page here. I'll be surprised if our number 1s aren't the same too. But yeah, Rattler's number 2 for me. I had it as a kid. Not sure what happened to it, but I did. The very first Joe Fest I went to, picked it up. It was on my to get list. Got it there. No regrets. It's not in the best shape, but for the price I paid, it was worth it. And no, I do not have the classified coming because I don't do classified anymore. But I almost pulled the trigger on it because it's so cool. But I didn't.
I almost, shame on me, I almost had 3 coming. And then I was like, there's nowhere I can store it. Even if the idea of like, I'm going to get it and I'm going to part it out. And, a lot of these guys will, they'll buy 3 or 4 and then they'll sell the other 3 and pay for the 1.
Right.
And I thought about that, but the more I thought about it, I mean, that box has got to be.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
don't
going to
know.
be a
I
massive
mean,
box.
the
Yeah, I've
wings
got
hold
it.
up, so
Yeah, but still, right now I'm running out of space. I've got a 1/6 scale 89 Batmobile that's still sitting in a box because I don't have room for it, and I don't have room for it in the box. So that was a big. But that was the Rattler was one of my favorites too. I got it as a birthday gift. It was in the line, I think, right after I got the Dragonfly. That's I usually got those big vehicles for birthdays, and so I remember getting the Rattler, the same thing. I that was just an awesome toy, and I'm excited about the HasLab one because yeah,
yeah,
just
it looks great.
it
It
looks
does.
great.
It does. Yes, sir, it does.
So my number one, I'm kind of like Anthony there. Birthdays and Christmases were vehicles, and for Christmas in '84, I've got this vehicle, and it's set on my dad's nightstand for a year, waiting to be put together.
Yes.
I was informed that it didn't have all the parts to it, so he
Oh
couldn't put it
no.
together. So one day I was like, "You mind if I go look at it?" And he's like, "Go for it." Well, I got it. I put it together. It was all there, and he was like, "I just didn't really want to fool with it." But so it is the Shark.
Oh yeah.
Loved that thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I didn't like that they had to lay down on their bellies to fly it. So I watched the cartoon, so I'd lay them down on their backs and let them fly it like that. But now a friend of mine, Founding Figures on Instagram, if you follow
Mhm.
him, he makes a cockpit seat for the Shark, 3D prints it,
Oh
and
wow.
it slides right in there. It's got the yoke. You can store the figure's gear in the back of the seat. You can pull the seat
Cool.
out, put their gear in it, and slide it in there. Hit him up. He does amazing work. I've got 2 of the seats off of him. And if I ever get a third one, I told him I'd get another one off of him. But it looks great. I'll have to send you some pictures of it here in a little bit. And I think it even has a peg for the figure's back to snap into.
Oh, that's
Oh
cool.
yeah, that'd be cool.
And it's great. And but that is my number one. And I have a special mention, and it is the whale. If I could go back to 1984, I would punch myself in the throat and tell myself, get the whale instead of the dragonfly, stupid. Just like right here, just like
Throat
pow.
chop, just a good. Ah.
Yeah, man, right
Middle
across
knuckle
the
out, just right in the throat hole. Just like pow. But I had the opportunity to get the whale. I knew I'd looked at the Sears and J.C. Penney wish books so much, and
Oh
any
yes.
other Montgomery Ward books. I looked at it so much. I knew every little detail about it. And my dragonfly had broke, and Wild Bill broke. And my mom's like, "You want another dragonfly or you want a whale for Christmas?" We was in Sears. They had a wall of these things. And I'm like, I went brain dead. I was like, "Oh, I want a dragonfly, Mom." And if I could go back to that point in time,
Good choice.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wore the thing. I wore the second one out too. But I just go
Yeah,
back
good
and just
choice, both of
drill myself right in that little throat hole right here.
them.
Imagine I've got a story kind of like that, and my number one was the Rattler. I don't have one. I saw many at Joe Fest that I almost was. They almost had a Gollum in the ring effect on me. I just
Yeah.
thought I'm gonna reach out and get it. It just kept drawing me in, and no, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna wait. But years ago, so I got my first one as a birthday gift, and I wore that thing out. Took it apart, lost pieces, And Jamie will remember this. We were growing up in the same town. Our Sears had closed down, and we used to get a lot of stuff from Sears had closed down, and they opened up kind of like it wasn't a Hudson's or an Ollie's or something like that. It was just a one-time like independent liquidators, and you go in there and they just have these big bins full of stuff. And I'll never forget walking in and seeing a box of the Rattler just in pieces, and it was probably liquidated. It was probably $4 or $5, or it was super cheap. Same thing with hydrofoil parts, and I just didn't get them. And I was old enough to get them, and I probably had my grandpa or grandma with me. They would have bought it for me, and just didn't get it. And I would have, if I'd have taken that, I would have basically restored my. That was my thought as even as a kid. I'm gonna restore this Rattler with these other parts, you know. But yeah, that was my number one, and probably as an alternate and kind of a smaller vehicle, the Asp was my kind of. I mean that there's a I can't remember which comic it is, which issue it was, the G.I. Joe comic where they're fighting on an island, and they've got these asps set up, and Killer Whale comes in, and it's this battle between the two. I must have reenacted that thing so many times. It was nuts. So those are my top picks, man.
I never had a Shark as a boy. Of course, I've got one now. It's such a cool vehicle, and the Asp that's when 84 was such a hard year because mentioned the Asp, I almost broke it out. It's like but this is my number one here, so it's gonna be the Killer Whale, of course. And I will be honest with you, I never had a tear drone, never had a flag. To me, that was the greatest play set ever was the Killer Whale. That was my most favorite of of all the vehicles I ever personally owned, was the Killer Whale. I mean, I love the Sky Striker, love the Rattler, I love the 82 headquarters, or 83 headquarters. I'm sorry, but man, there was nothing like the Killer Whale. I mean, the opened up the front, the guys could store in it. It was just when I bought this one was about 8 or 9 years ago, and a guy used to sell stuff about an hour from me. He'd buy collections, and so I went to his house, and when he opened the box, I mean, it's 100% complete, right? It was immaculate. Man, when he opened that box, he saw my reaction. I mean, you're talking about that kid in the candy store. I was like, holy cow, it's the Killer Whale. I said, how much? He said, $75. You won't touch him for that now,
No.
But man, I was. You could hear me getting excited right now talking about when I got this one. That's my again. I never had never had the flag, never had a tear drone or nothing. I loved them, but I never had one. But of all the stuff I've ever owned, the Whale was by far my favorite.
Yeah, and I knew it. The Killer Whale is my number one too.
I mean, this guy's batting 1,000, man.
Yeah. Had it as a kid, picked it up a couple years ago at Joe Fest, dirt cheap in the lobby swap. I won't go in details, but I got a really good price on it, and it does need a little work, but I love it. It's all right as long as I don't put in water right now. So it's parked.
You know what's funny talking about? I think Hillbilly said something too about a condition of or maybe in you, Casey. My 2-year-old, I'm watching, so he's introduced to all the stuff. He comes up in this office and he loses his mind. He knows all the stuff now. But one of the things, and I'm giving him a few things out of here. And as I'm watching him play with stuff and seeing all the little rub marks on his that he's starting to get on some of his toys, I had a thought the other day. I thought, maybe mint condition is a little overrated. It's great if you want to sell it. But if you've got some rub marks on there and it's been played with, and especially if it was yours, that's really cool. I mean, because there's hundreds of thousands of memories in there.
Oh yeah.
All those little rub marks and all those little dents and all those little things. That's a memory or something that was in there. And I had that thought the other day, and you guys made me think of it by hey, get something in good condition. And I know, like, I'm also, I have stuff and I'm like, oh, it's just
Yeah.
like, don't touch it, put it under glass, you know. But
Yes.
It's like my
Absolutely.
version 1.5 Snake Eyes. He's actually only thing that he's missing is the waist, and it's the one that I had. It's version 2 waist or version 1 waist, and I had the version 1. He broke. I got version 1.5. He broke. My brother put the two together. Well, now only thing to make a complete version 1.5 is just change the waist out. And Larry offered me a waist piece for it just to make it a solid 1.5. And I'm like, no, I kind of like to keep it the way I had it as a kid. And times I'm thinking I ought to do that, but and I'm like you. I like the ones that's got the paint rubs on them and the
Mm-hmm.
the paint apps are kind of rubbed off or whatever.
Except for the Cobra emblems, I want those on there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. But Beta Ray Bob, you're right, man. It's mint condition is a toy that has not lived up to its potential. That's so true.
Yeah.
And you're right.
My granddaughter is 4 months old. When she is old enough to handle toys, I don't care what toy it is. If she wants to play with my Eternia play set, me and her's going to play. We're going to play Masters of the Universe together. Toys are meant to be played with.
Yeah.
I might take the rails off, but we're going to play. And I can't wait. It gives me an excuse to play with my toys.
You're muted, Anthony.
Same thing here. In this room, I've decided there's nothing I have in here. Everything is like, okay, you just can't. There's some things you just can't have right now. And like some of my, I've got some. I dipped into the sideshow pool a couple of years ago, and I've got a handful of those. And then I've also dipped into the 3016, and I'll pull them down, and he'll look at them, and he'll go, "Oh, this is so cool, so cool." But most everything in here is pretty much. I got this sitting on my desk. It's convenient right here, sitting on my desk. I had this set aside, and anybody that knows how hard these are to find, it's complete. But even now, he'll come up. Hey, I want to take it apart. Hey, I want to make it cars. So anything that it's good to have kids be interested in this stuff.
Absolutely.
I have the line Voltron set, and little cousin he's seen it and he's like, "What's that?" I took them all apart, made them lines, and took all the action figures out of them. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, can I have this?" So he ended up taking it, and then he got older and he's like, "I don't want that anymore. You want to trade for it or whatever?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll trade for it." And I have it back in my collection. I remember going to GC Murphy's and buying it on my birthday, our birthday money. But Casey, there's rumors that Casey and Santa might not be on the same podcast again this Christmas.
I'm
Casey,
sure we will.
You will be?
We will be. Yeah.
Okay. I thought
okay.
I thought it was somebody else's turn to be Santa this year.
Casey doesn't take turns.
All right. So
yes, I 100% agree, Ronnie.
Yes, sir, Ronnie. Right.
Yep. Computer. You see people just jamming a computer or a device in these kids' faces.
Yeah.
And here you go. Leave me alone. That and 90% of the toys you see people getting, they're for adults. They're not for kids anymore.
Well, kids want to grow up so fast. I mean, I did when I was a kid, but I still played with toys till I was like 17. Don't tell nobody.
Yeah.
just to people watching. But
we understand.
And I don't regret it. I had a great time. I used my imagination a lot. turned out okay, and I'm not as weird as some people think I am.
Same.
Probably close.
Same here. I mean, in my mind, I'm not.
Yeah. I'm normal ish.
So on to figures.
This was
yeah,
hard
here
to
we
do
go.
for me. The figures was
Yes,
harder
it was.
than
It was.
vehicles.
And
It really
you
was.
all will probably yell at me and curse at me and tell me I'm not allowed to be on the show anymore. But my number 5, Spirit.
Nothing wrong with that.
I got
Wrong with
him.
that.
This was a hard list.
It was.
So
Yes,
hard.
it was.
And like Casey, my taste has changed over the years, but Spirit was such a cool figure. Him and Freedom. I need to get a Freedom for my Spirit that I have, and then he'll be complete. But that is my number 5.
I don't have one. I've got closest thing I've got. I mean, I've got 112, but my number 5 came in at Zartan. I don't know
Nice.
why. I loved everything about that figure, the chameleon, everything. And there's been a couple of cool versions in 112. There's been a lot of cool versions in the 3 3/4, and that's also probably on my. I would say that's on my list of things to pick up, and will probably be a Joe Fest pickup, or if I don't get it before then.
Yeah.
You don't know me very
Both
well,
those-
Ronnie.
Both of those are great, man. I'm like everybody else. 84 was such a hard year.
Yeah.
I had almost all the figures. A handful I didn't, but I'm going to put one at number 5 that will probably be a lot of folks' number 1. But I did my list this way. I went back in time traveled in my mind, which ones that I liked the most as that boy, And the funny thing is, number 1 ended up being one I did not own, but I always wanted. But this is my number 5 here. Let's get him. If we got a good Storm Shadow, and I picked this up on Instagram. He's immaculate. But I've got my original Storm Shadow. He's like beige color.
Yeah.
So, but his limbs just dangle, and I'm like, nah, he's not going anywhere. But that was. I've got him at 5. I loved him as a kid. It's just there was some more ahead of him, for this list. But he's my number 5.
Yep.
All right. So we do differ now.
Yes.
And
I do that.
I could not choose my number 5. So I took, I just went ahead and I got 2 tied for 5.
No
Spirit and Ripcord.
Yeah.
Love both those figures. I was holding them up next to each other and I couldn't decide. So they're both number 5.
Good deal. Good deal. Great figures.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Both of them.
So my number 4 is I can't believe she came in at number 4, but Baroness. Baroness is such a great mold. She's such a great figure. I didn't have one until Larry actually hooked me up with it. He got a good deal off of Fish Pond Joe's. Fish Pond Joe's found it in a pawn shop for like dirt cheap, and it came all the way from the West Coast. And Larry's like, "Hey, you need this." And then gradually, I found the backpack, and then I found the gun for her. So now she's complete, and Scarlet was such a rough looking figure.
Oh, yeah.
The head
Cover girl,
sculpt,
too.
yeah, the head sculpts. But whenever they did Baroness, that's whenever you seen them starting to. She was like a leap ahead,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they did her, and then Lady J. Lady J's a great figure. But yeah, so Baroness is my number 4.
Nice. It's a good pick.
Baroness is one that I've seen. That was one of my favorites. One I've seen. I've been tempted to pick up. It's come through my feed. You know, I know Kate Masters probably had a couple of them. I know there's several other. I mean, I've seen some really good ones, and I just won't pull the trigger on it yet. But my number 4, I'm gonna join James here with my number 4, and I'm gonna get this guy here.
Yes, she was, Bob.
That's the right guy. That's
yeah.
the right guy. That's him right there. There he is.
Nice.
I mean, I almost was like, what about this guy? That's him. Oh, that's not him. He's the wrong guy.
Look at him. Look at him.
It is a good looking figure, though.
I know what's going on here. This was absolutely. I think if I can't remember if I had the three figure case. I'm sure I did, maybe a couple of them. I know I had the open case, bookcase that you put the original 13 in, and Storm Shadow was always there. Storm Shadow was was just always wherever I went. Had neighborhood kids trying to trade me, begging me to trade for it. Never would happen. So that's my number 4. That's one of the. It's just a, and I talking about not last thing real quick. Talking about not played with. I found this one right here because James goes to a comic shop over in close to where he lives called Covert Comics. He walked in. He said, "Hey man, I saw a Storm Shadow over there, man. Look, they never been played with." And didn't you tell me that guy the guy that he got that lot from had told him, "Yeah, I just took him out. I never took him outside." Did you tell me that, James?
Yeah.
And you just think like, what would that? I can't imagine that. I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing things, and just every kid, but it's hard to imagine that. Hard to imagine it not going with you everywhere and playing with it all the time.
Right. The next one. By the way, here's my. You can't really tell but here's my original Stormy. But this guy number 4 for me. Probably a lot of folks number 1. I actually never had him as a kid, and I think later I got him in a trade, but I always wanted him. It's another Cobra. It's Firefly, So he's such, and this is a great figure. I can't remember where I picked him up at, but it's been years ago. But like I said, I never owned him as a child. Wanted him bad. I love the camo gray and plus what he did. His MOS, I guess you would say, but yeah, that's a great figure. Firefly finally got the green phone. Man, I actually, instead of trying to buy the green phone about a couple years ago, maybe I actually just bought a whole new Firefly with a phone and sold my extra one. So it was cheaper.
Yeah.
But that's my number 4.
Well, my number 4 is Firefly. He is a great figure. When me and my buddy Matt decided to get back into Joe, we started hitting all these toy stores in Cincinnati. And I remember buying my Firefly at House of Plastic in Cincinnati. I got him for like $45, super tight, like he's never been touched, like fresh out of the package. Everything, the phone, the weapon, everything. Loved that Firefly. I'm surprised he's not higher on my list, actually.
So my number 3 is one that I had as a kid, and he just blew my mind. Ripcord.
Great figure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I didn't understand what a Halo jumper was. But now that I do, he really it knocks him up there a couple notches. So Ripcord's my number 3.
Great figure.
Good choice. Yeah. Good choice.
And they were my favorites too. I'm going to go with I'm going to follow up these other guys. So my number 3 is also going to be
Firefly.
And Same. I mean, I think you almost sound like a broken record in a way. You say, "Hey, man, I love this thing as a kid. I love this one as a kid. I love that one as a kid." But there's certain figures that just, if you had your probably top 10 or top 20, if you could do that even, I mean, that'd just be an undertaking. But that's my number. That's my number 3.
Good choice. Well, my number 3 is this guy, and Eric, I'm with you, man. I mean, when he came out, the mask, the camo, the gun, it's definitely Ripcord. So that's my number 3. I did have him as a boy, and he was cool. I mean, he was super cool. Still is, by the way.
Yeah, and I love that episode. I'm sorry, issue of the comic where him and Zartan had to fight and kind of swap places.
Yeah,
that was great. So my number 3 is the Baroness. Love that character from the first comic to now in the new comics where she's I don't want spoilers, but she's a Joe. So I mean, so they've done a lot with her.
Yeah.
And going back to what Ronnie was saying earlier, and I think it was Pursuit of Cobra. I could be wrong, but she was Duke's ex-girlfriend.
Rise of Cobra.
Rise of Cobra, yeah. That didn't even bother me. I think they can do so much with that character, and each story's different.
So, my number 2 is one that my brother was going to Parkersburg to the mall, and he asked me, he's like, "Is there anything you want me to pick up for you?" I'm like, "Yeah, get me a Firefly. Really want Firefly." He came home, couldn't find Firefly. Don't think he even looked, but little brother, big brother thing. So a few years ago, I was in Classic Plastic in Parkersburg Mall, where my brother was going to that mall that day. And I'm looking, and lo and behold, on the peg in a baggie is Firefly. And I got him. And I was like, man, he is so tight. He is like never played with tight.
Yeah.
But he wasn't complete. And he's still not complete, but I'm still happy with him.
Oh yeah.
It's still such a cool figure. And that's my number 2.
It's a great pick.
All right, Anthony, what do you have? I got to see this one.
Number 2. Oh, it's
gotta see it. Oh, you trade.
Yeah, I mean, this is one probably this we will never, for all the classified collectors out there that are just like angry that we won't see a hooded Cobra Commander. This was just, I think, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just I think I was more into, I was also, by profession, last probably 15, 20 years, I've been a graphic designer, web designer, design stuff. And so just the colors of this were always something that, I mean, you love that old original light blue, but there was something about the navy blue and gold, and it was just one of my favorite figures.
Yeah.
And again, like I had, like all of us here, I was looking through trying to refresh my memory of '84, looking through the Joe book and thinking, man, how do I pick 5 of these? There's because that year you've got Scrap Iron, you've got Spirit, you've got Blowtorch, there's just that wave was really cool and it had a lot of favorites,
Not Rock and Roll, I'm sorry. The Roadblock. Rock and Roll's replacement.
Roadblock was a favorite.
Speaking of number 2, somebody answered the phone. Is it to me? I'm just kidding.
It's good.
I'm just kidding, man. Number 2, this guy, and he almost was number 1. Of course, is Roadblock. I don't know what it was about him. I mean, the dude's got a tripod,
Right.
with a 50 cal, and just, I loved him. And for some reason, from the comics and Sunbow just making him rhyme everything,
Yeah.
that was like, it was kind of corny, but it was comical. And today when I pick him up, I'm trying to make a rhyme with him, a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, but Roadblock was just, man, I loved him. Again, heavy machine gun, tripod. It didn't take long to dig a little foxhole and put him in there with that, behind that 50. And I love Roadblock. I mean, one of my favorites of all time, probably top 5 Joes for me of all years is Roadblock.
And he had one of the greatest first appearances in the comics. This is when he shot down was it a rattler with his Maldeus at the funeral?
Yes.
Yeah.
Duke was using the sidearm. He's going pew pew pew.
Here goes that Ducade again.
Well, talking about his dialogue in the cartoons, I guarantee you, there's not one of us in here on this podcast that if somebody posted a post that had one of the rhymes in there, you'd hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
You was talking about, and I could hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
The whole time, absolutely, man. That's good.
My number 2, Storm Shadow. He was so fun. I loved the whole. At first, I guess due to the cartoon, it was Storm Shadow, Spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
Then it quickly, thanks to the comics, which I drew most of my Joe knowledge from, was him versus Snake Eyes, which made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
he's awesome.
The thing he said with the cartoon, the reason he put him up against Spirit was because they didn't know how to write a story for a man that couldn't talk. It was too hard to tell that story.
Well,
Yeah.
plus it was to sell the figures that came out, and those
Yes.
2 came out the same year. Let's try to sell them both.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I have the first appearance of Storm Shadow in the comics, the silent interlude.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You told me he's looking for one, and I found him and throwed him on a plane to you.
So, do you want to read the list before we jump
Yes.
into our number 1s?
Yes, so I'm going to start with Mr. Gary Wayne, and I'm going to start with his vehicles, and he's got 5 vehicles. His special mention is the Claw. His
Oh,
number
yeah.
5,
6?
yeah. His number 5 is the Skyhawk. Vamp 2, 3's a Stinger, 2's a Water Moccasin, and 1 is a Killer Whale.
It's a good solid pick.
Yeah. And then for his figures, I won't have to question him on this. Number 5's Duke. Number 4 is Recondo. Number 3 Spirit. Number 2 Storm Shadow. And number 1's Firefly. So
No hate there.
no. And then Joe Hunter 73. He sent me a list. And he's got, this is what he says. These are all based on my favorites as when I was a kid. Number 3, Killer Whale. Reason why it's not number 1, never earned it until 2019 playability, 10 out of 10.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, Stinger. Never earned either of Vamps. This thing was awesome and took a beating. I still have an original rolling along the concrete floor in the basement, hitting the lip of the rug and it flipping and rolling and it's still rolling. Playability, 8 out of 10. Number 1, Accessory Pack 2. LOL, just kidding. Cobra Rattler. Christmas 1984, waking up around 5 a.m., sneaking upstairs as my room was in the basement. coming around the corner, lights on the still on the tree, and milk and cookies are gone under the tree. There it is in a beautiful Hector Garrido box. Art was rather unwrapped as Santa would always do with his gift to us. I remember as yesterday. Playability, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
84 figures. Number 5, Firefly. Super cool, dark gray camo, telephone, cool gun. Number 4, Scrap Iron. That awesome Cobra blue and red, great detail, loadout for accessories at the time. Underrated figure.
Very.
Number 3, Stinger driver. Cobra officer in gray, driver of a cool vehicle. Number 2, Wild Weasel. One of a kind, still have my original. Number 1, Casey, this is just for you, buddy. Recondo. Since Casey thinks I'm an Aussie, LOL, I always thought Recondo was from down under. Even after reading the file card, he just has that look. Always had most of the figures before I saw the cartoon and just would use my imagination how the figures would sound and act.
I thought he told me he was from Australia one time. I do know now, Texas.
Yes.
Right? Texas.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is Texas
cool.
in Australia?
Close enough.
This guy should know he lives in Texas.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
those are
Everybody out
great
there,
lists.
meet up.
my number 1.
Uh-oh. Drum roll.
Anybody who's in the chat, feel free to throw your number 1s in there too.
Yes.
I want to see them.
Yes.
Please go, Eric. I'm sorry.
You're fine. If they would put this figure in classified, I would buy it even though I don't do classified anymore. I mean, I would snatch it up. I'd buy 2 of them. I'd open one, leave one in the package. Hooded Cobra Commander.
Ah,
Love that figure. Never had him as a kid. I got him off of a friend of mine that was selling his collection as his childhood collection. He got as the mail away, and so I'm the second owner of it. But man, it is such a great figure. I just need to get his gun or his blaster, hair dryer, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I love that figure, and it's ignorant that they're not doing it in classified.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah,
they're
appreciate you, man. So that is my number 1. And I want to
Nice.
stick with that.
I would say that there's a better chance of getting if there is one somehow being worked out. There's a way better chance of getting it than that first wave of classified. They've gotten so much. I mean, you can just see it if you're not collecting it but following it. The classified line, the things that they're doing over there, the freedom that guys like Lenny and some of those other guys have over there to push these, it's leaps and bounds from that first wave.
Yeah.
That everybody, that some people love, some people hate, all the discussion about Nerf guns and all that stuff. But man, it's just, I'm like, there are figures that are coming down the line that I didn't expect to see in classified, and so it's maybe we will get one. I have I bought a custom head off of eBay and did my own custom classified one here somewhere around here.
Yep.
But yeah, that would be a great figure. There would be a lot of people that would one to rock, one to stock, and one to sell on those if they put that out.
I have the first classified Cobra Commander, and a guy sent me a 3D printed head or something like that he had painted up, the hood and head, and I have that on my figure. And But the reasoning that Hasbro said they'll never make it is just ignorant and stupid. But I'll get off my.
Larry classifies Skidmark. Oh, nice.
But
yeah, I know what you mean there.
I'll get off my soapbox here, and I'll pass the torch on to Fantastic Toy Robot.
My number one was a really close. There's down to 2 figures, and one of them I have one of the figures. I'm gonna pick up an O-ring of the OG one, and classified. I think it's been one of the like name only reveals, but my number one ended up being.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's this is one that I picked up a few years ago. And this is one that this was an experiment for me in restoration. I have 3 or 4 spirits with no crotches, and I have a lot of parts. I did the whole put it in peroxide, put it out in the sun, and it did wonders for it, man. It looks like it's super clean. But the toss up was between that and Blowtorch. Blowtorch was one of my absolute favorites as a kid. I just thought it was the coolest figure.
Yeah.
And I know I think that's rumored to be, or not rumored. I think that's a name only reveal that's coming down the line.
Yeah, I think so.
That's what I'm looking forward to see. I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. It depends on how it looks. That may be one I will buy, because like I said, I've said it 100 times. I don't hate classified. I just can't afford to collect everything.
Yeah.
So I have to prioritize.
I'm the same here, man.
There's a lot of figures that there's not a lot. There's a handful of figures that I have I just haven't picked up because it's hard to be a completist, and it's hard to be a completist when you're picking up. Now you're doing some Marauder stuff, and now you're doing some, Sideshow or some other stuff. It's just, whew, it's a great time
to hit rabbit holes.
Yeah.
You never.
Great time to be a collector.
Well, my number one, by the way, Duke, I always counted Duke for some reason. I got him as a mellowweight, so he was kind of like, wasn't he mellowweight in 83? And then he was a carded guy in 84, Duke.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So I had the mellowweight Duke. My dad wore like 5 or 6, 7 of them, something like that. But my number one is the actual figure that I never had as a boy that I wanted so bad. And just to me, just was so awesome. Anthony, I'm going to go with you, brother. How about Spirit?
Nice.
Spirit. I mean, the dude is Native American, the headband, ponytails. He's got an eagle named Freedom. I mean, come on, fellas.
Yeah.
Who has a pet bald eagle? That's got to be against the law. And yeah, remember, growing up in the 80s, Russia, Cold War, what I mean? We always felt that. I mean, you got a pet bald eagle, which I never saw bald eagle until the last 10 years. They finally started showing up in our area.
Yeah.
Freedom, man. And then I love the character. I love the way he looks. I hear his voice from the Sunbow cartoons, I mean, and to me, it's just, I was happy to get him. Now, I will tell you, his blue on mine has faded. You can't tell, but it's not as bright as it used to be. So I'm going to have to do the restoration or buy me a new torso and arm set. But I love Freedom. And there was man, I'll tell you guys, Scrap Iron should have been on my top 5. I love Scrap Iron, but Larry, he's so crazy.
So, guys, I need you all to do me a favor. We need to get Larry on the podcast. I was working on him this week. I was working on him this week. He won't do it. So if I can't get him on here, my plan is to broadcast live from in front of his house.
I'll meet you there.
All right. I'll send you. I know his address, so I'll send you the details, and all of us will just show up. Everybody in Joe community show up. Larry will make us hot dogs and hot pockets, and
Podcast from Larry's house.
yes,
Yeah,
That's what we'll call it. Live
that's an
from
idea
Larry's.
there.
live from Larry's. So Larry, the gauntlet has been thrown down, buddy. I need to get Larry and Ronnie on here.
Oh yeah,
That'd be fun.
We'll be talking about skid marks all night, a whole podcast.
Oh Lord have
So-
mercy.
I'm gonna give my number one,
Go for it.
and this is how I know my taste changed constantly. Wild Weasel is my number one.
Nice.
I don't even think he
Figure.
made my list last time.
Great figure,
But-
man.
Yeah, he's an amazing figure. If anybody picks up 2 Rattlers and they want to move one of their Wild Weasels, please hit me up, because that is one classified figure I would love to have.
Yeah.
I think it's a great figure. I like red.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wild Weasel was, and that's the struggle I was having with this list.
Mhm.
I mean, Thunder. I mean, the earmuffs and
Yeah.
the black visor. I mean, dude, he's so cool. I was like, when I try to go with at the end of the day,
I think I knocked off 3 points because he's a ginger. Just kidding. just kidding, Ronnie.
Oh, whoa, never mind.
So
it's solid year. Joe,
Yeah.
Joe 84 was a solid year.
I really,
You know.
Jokers, I love the Deep Six from that year.
He actually really does. It's weird.
I'll have to send you a picture of my fish tank. I have a Deep Six in my aquarium.
Cool.
And he looks great. I
It's
mean,
where it belongs.
yeah,
Water.
yeah. And I mean, it's a great figure. And the thing with that figure, it has a great gimmick. It has a pump.
What's this? You all right, Eric? Need a Hamlet?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to mute myself there. But it's a
you're
great figure. And but you can put him in water and you can pump it, he come up to the top. And he does look like a fish tank decoration.
He's
But
perfect for it.
yeah,
I mean, no disrespect at all. I mean, that was a great idea.
No, man. I have him. Like I say, it's the only year I've got everything they made. So now was 85 the year of the different necks?
Yeah.
Kind of like it was 85 started.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, 84 is a great year. Great
85 's
figures, great vehicles.
85 is going to be such a hard year to do. 84 was hard the way it was. And thinking of 85, I'm going to have 2 that are going to be fighting for my top position. So
It's weird. There's no Duke in 85.
How
this is the best year ever.
you gonna compensate for that, Eric?
Have a party.
Dude, I love Duke. The original was cool. It's just that he's always smiling,
Yeah.
Get that cheesy grin.
I cannot stand Duke at all. And I think
How you really feel, Eric? How you really
I
feel?
want-
Don't hold back.
I want-
Yeah.
Don't
Tell
hold
you
back, man. Don't hold back.
I want to tell you how I feel. So you ever watch the TV show Super Friends?
Mhm.
Okay, who's the only character on that show that could ever do anything? Superman. He's the only one that could ever do anything at all. So Duke comes along and he's like the Captain America super soldier. Yes. Yes. I'm triggered. But to me, he was like that little kid on the playground whenever we're all playing, and he's like, "Oh, I'm immune to that," or "I'm the only one that can do that." And It just that's good.
Only one.
But I'll get off my soapbox on that. We're
I love you, man.
I love Super Friends. Actually, did.
I love Challenge of the Super Friends where you had the Legion of Doom.
Yes.
Yes.
That was the best.
I even like the superpowers whenever they brought Darkseid in.
Yeah.
We're showing our age, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
So-
yeah, Casey, what, you're 52?
Yep.
Casey 50, and Anthony, you're 50, or you're over here. Yeah, that way. I'll be 50 in November. And my son wants to say hey to everybody. Say hey, son. Eric, how old are you? Are you 50 yet?
No, I am the baby of the group. I am 49.
49? I'm 49.
Well,
50 in November.
I'll be 50 in March.
Yep. Half a
So-
century, brother.
Yeah.
Still
So where's-
enjoying ourselves.
Yeah. Where's your boy at, man? I always enjoy talking
just-
to him.
Yeah, he's at that age where he's talking about you, son. It's girls right now. Girls. Was that Motley
Gotcha.
Crue? Who was that saying that? Was that
Yeah, Motley Crue.
yeah, girls, and baseball. Larry, we've been friends since I was second grade and he was third grade. If I'm not mistaken, right, Anthony? I was heading to school one morning on the bus. I think I told this when I was there last time, and I saw you out the bus window. You was playing with your dragonfly. And like, I know that guy. He goes to school. He's a grade ahead of me when our school was small, little small country school. And so I found him at school and we started talking. Hey, you had dragonfly. And that was it, man. So that's been long time. I'm not good at math, so it's been a while. Second grade, I would have been 9. I'm 50, 40 years at least. At least 40 years.
I remember talking to you one day after I didn't really know you, but I remember talking to you one day out at recess, and we started talking about Joe's, so he said, "Hey, I want to come over to my house." So I go over to his house. The first time I go over to his house, this guy's got his dad had built him this massive fort. He's got this wood fort out there, and he's got all his cobras in it. On the other side, he's got all his Joes charging up the thing. And I walked in and said, "Oh my gosh, I can't compete with this. There's no way I can compete with this." No, that's not really what I thought. I thought this is awesome.
Yeah, let's say this guy's got a load of stuff here. That guy, yeah.
But I remember too. I remember that was probably. I think that may have, like, I had the dragonfly and I had a few Joes, but I think maybe one of my first trades was with you, Jamie. I mean, we I think I can't remember what I gave you, but you gave me the snake armor, which I thought was one of the coolest things. And so, yeah, I mean, that here we are 40 years later and still buddies and going to Joe Fest, and man, it's been good times.
Right, hadn't it? Been a ride.
So we're crowding an hour and a half, and
fellas, I mean, take up so much of your time.
Oh, you're fine. Casey always has this one question he likes to ask people. So I'll let him. You want me to do it? So out of all the toys and comics and TV shows from the 80s or your childhood, what is something you'd like to see come in as a toy line? Like for me, I would like to see Airwolf.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Come into the G.I. Joe line.
You're talking about like a crossover?
Just anything.
Just anything, gotcha.
Yeah, or like
yeah.
Yeah, or like for me also, Werewolf by Night. I'd love to see a Werewolf by Night line.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Either in 1/18 or 6-inch. I mean, it would be so cool. And we're getting ready to get that with Operation Monster Force. Thunder
Thunderer
Barbarian.
That'd be a great one, yes.
Yeah.
TV shows. Anthony, you got one, buddy? I was just thinking TV shows, man. It wasn't a cartoon, but I love to see because they can make several different pieces of equipment, quite a few characters, but they'll be kind of bland for a lot of people, I guess. But for military collectors, I'd love to see like Tour of Duty.
Yeah.
Something like that. That'd be cool.
Great.
Just give us 1/18 of that. But I don't know, there's so many. There's so many.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are looking forward to making their own Tour of Duty figures from the Marauders Nom.
Yes. I'm waiting for I saw where the Marauders refunded all the backers.
If they wanted it. Because it's not
but
canceled.
they're still right. It's not canceled. I think that was the misconception some folk were having when it was canceled, but it was not canceled. It's just yesterday reached out because it's taken so long. I can't wait for the Marauders Vietnam stuff. But
honestly, I've got Kickstarters that I've been into for over 3 years, and I don't want my money back because I want the figures. But it's nice that they offered that for the people getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, good
on
job.
the record,
Marauders.
I didn't do a Kickstarter on that one, but
yeah, I
I
didn't
sure
either.
want them.
I missed that one, but I will after they're on the website. I will get some.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Airwolf, if there's any way you can get a hold of the guys at Ramen Toy, they might make one in 112, or they might make one because they seem to be. I don't know if you guys have seen it. This would be one of mine. Would be the A-Team, Knight Rider.
Oh yeah. Yes.
A-Team. They just Ramen Toy just put out some shots, so I think it's actually pre-order now for 3 different versions of their A-Team van.
Yeah.
And then
it's called the B-Team.
The B-Team, and then I saw. I guess they posted something the other day of a kind of a mock-up or of a Knight Rider 2000 kit.
Yeah.
Out on it and everything. And I don't know if you guys saw their booth at Joe Fest. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of
Yeah.
And in addition to some of the other stuff they're doing too, with like their mask kind of versions of things. And I keep something on my list to pick up is that Aces line of the Top Gun figures. Looks awesome. I keep seeing I keep seeing pictures of it, and I feel like I'm having serious FOMO.
Yeah. At Joe Fest, I actually sat down we were at a panel. Did you guys go to any panels? I went to a few of them, but one I sat at one of the back tables with Ace from Ramen Toys, and he had his A-Team van with him and a car. I don't remember what car it was, but I was like, "Hey, how about making a car from Supernatural?" And he's like, "You never know."
That'd be cool. But
Little House on the Prairie.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I may have to pass on that, but that was the most depressing show I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I love that show.
It was always tragic.
Yeah.
I guess it was
one movie I would love to see him do figures on is Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh, that's a good show. Robert Redford.
Yeah, I'm not a big Robert Redford fan, but that movie was great. If anybody would do it, it'd probably be Chicken Fried Toys in the Dime Novel Legends.
I was laughing, Casey. I just had a thought, man. I can't believe you didn't say Blazing Saddles because
that would be great.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to my first time on podcast with you guys when he said his first movie he went to was Blazing Saddles.
It was. My parents took me. Now, if they'd update it for today, we can watch about 4 minutes of it.
The opening and ending credits.
I'm sorry,
Where the white
gentlemen.
women at?
But I think my answer is always going to
Well-
be Supernatural. That's what I would love to see a toy line made of, because there's so many monsters, so many great characters that
Yeah.
have been in that show. I mean, you got 15 seasons, I think, that you can pull from. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's always, I love fantasy. I would love to see figures from the Dark Elf books by R.A. Salvatore, or Dragonlance Chronicles, or the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. I think those would make amazing figures.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever read those, you know what I'm talking about.
You know what you just made me think of, Casey? The Wizards cartoon movie. I'd love
Yep.
to have a figure of that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was good. I watched that, man. That was good. That even Lord of the Rings, somebody would do a. I know that Diamond Select did a good job, but if you could do a 4-inch
Oh,
kind of a run of that, there was some great figures in it. But
love
yeah, man, that
Lord of the
Wizards.
Rings.
I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, but Wizards was a cool movie. Anthony, I rented it. I rented the movie at Public Warehouse back in the day on VHS when I watched it.
I remember that.
But
I think somebody did a statue of that main character, the one that was on the cover.
The red guy rode the little 2-legged beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show.
But I mean, there's so much cool
Oh.
stuff from our childhoods that deserve toy lines made today. I mean, we could talk about this for hours.
yeah.
But
Could
unfortunately, I
and then-
can't.
Could you imagine
I know
the
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
could you imagine the play sets for Lord of the Rings in 4-inch?
I could, but
I could too. And they could even put the Hobbit and the Silmarillion in it. And,
Lord, man.
all right.
Wet my
Casey?
appetite, brother.
My wife's been patient. I'm going to take her to get something to eat.
We're getting ready to go racing, and my wife is going to escort me to 80s Toys in Princeton.
Nice.
Oh wow, nice.
Put them on a leash.
Well, my wife is gone for the day with her girlfriends from the church, and I have the children, and I don't know what I'm going to do. So,
Just have fun.
feed myself. I'm going to feed myself.
You got to feed yourself.
But James, it was great to have you back on.
Yeah.
It's a blast to be here.
Anthony?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for coming on. It was so much fun. We're going to have to do this again sometime, guys.
Yep.
Because we're not a very big podcast, but I feel like everybody that comes on is just so fantastic
Yeah.
that they're not just guests, they're friends.
Right.
So
Right.
we will have to do this again.
Yeah.
It's a great community. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for having me. It was a
Thank
blast.
you, Joe. You have a great weekend.
Yep.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank
if
you,
guys
Larry.
could, if you
See you,
don't
Larry.
already subscribe, please do. We are trying to grow the
Yep.
podcast a little bit.
We're
Nothing
sure.
fancy.
Stacy,
Just trying to shoot for 200. It's still.
Yeah. Tell your friends, family, your grandparents,
yeah, man, I
parents.
definitely shared it always, but
Thanks,
all these
Stacy.
guys that showed
Hope you
up.
have a good day at work.
Yes.
Have
Stacy
fun.
and Beta, Ray, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank
Bob.
you, gentlemen.
Bob got me into the Dime Novel Legends.
Yes.
No regrets, Bob. I'm loving that line.
And then
Yeah,
somebody
pick
else
some
sent you down the Valaverse Action Force line.
Yeah. A lot of people causing me money issues. That's all right, though. I dropped Classified. It saved me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to narrow down my Motu collection buying because I'm on like 4 or 5 different series of Motu. Classics, Vintage, Masterverse, 2000X.
If they do Motu in 3 3/4 inch or 4-inch, I'd be done.
Well, they did Skeletor,
What?
kind of.
Oh yeah. I remember that. I need to get that. Yeah, I need to
I
get
missed
that.
him again, man.
He's on their
I
website
missed
now.
him. Oh,
Okay.
and he's got the second batch in. Okay.
Yes,
Remember?
it's a great figure. I need to get another one so I can open it. I don't want to open this because I love the packaging. I feel like it's half the appeal because of the whole VFS or VHS thing, you know, when we were kids. But I will get me another one so I can open it.
Bob, you even pushed me into the Dime Novel Legends rabbit hole. I got the Snake Eyes from him at Joe Fest.
That's a cool figure. I hate I missed it.
Yep.
I think it's on their website
Go
too.
figure.
So
Okay. Well, maybe I didn't.
let's support these indie toy companies because they're doing fantastic work that
They sure are.
mainstream companies will not do for us. So, everybody, thank you for watching.
Yes, sir.
And,
Everyone have a great weekend.
Great weekend. We'll see you next week with Ronnie Trickshot and Adam Shark Eyes as we talk 1985.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be fun.
Take care.
And remember,
everybody.
only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.